Ever heard of mixing wine with cider? Situated near Port Williams, Beausoleil Farmstead Winery is using innovative approaches to chart its own course in the local wine and cider industries. I met up recently with co-owner, wine and cider maker Melanie Eelman to discuss her journey.
We started in December of 2020, of all times, and let's just say 2020 was a really challenging year for many people, and also a time for change. So we bought our property Beausoleil in 2017 with the goal of putting in a vineyard, which went in 2019 after lots of prep work on the land and everything, and really wanted to add something to the local landscape. So in 2020, so many changes were happening, and we just decided to forge ahead and start and open Beausoleil. And if you think about where we're at here on Church Street in Port Williams, we just have this beautiful wide open sky and the most amazing sunsets pretty much every night of the year, especially in the summertime. And when we first landed here and we experienced our first sunset here, we were just awestruck and we're like, wow, Quel Beausoleil. And because we have a little bit of connection to French in our background, and doing a little bit more research on what this name Beausoleil really means, it was actually the nickname of a local Acadian hero. It was his code name during the time of the expulsion. And with what we're doing here at Beausoleil, it kind of really fit in terms of how we're just a little bit different from some of the other wineries in the area.
As for what makes Beausoleil different, Melanie explains.
There is this little movement that is happening in areas across North America, in regions where they're growing apples and grapes side by side, where they're taking ciders made from these beautiful apple varieties and blending it with the wines of the region. And you're ending up with something that is very different from either a cider or a wine, but really sits perfectly and nicely in between those two categories. And given what's happening here in the Annapolis Valley, where we have such a strong apple growing region, we have this new emerging wine region, these beautiful cool climate grapes and these amazing aromatic apple varieties, this just seems to be a natural fit for what Nova Scotia can also excel at. Beausoleil, at its heart, is a really small lot artisanal winery. We love doing those small lot wines, but the real focus of our program is this exploration on the vinous ciders, is what they happen to be called. And I just love coming up with these new flavor and aromatic profiles, and I love that there are no rules in this category. You can really be creative and come up with your own blends that are inspired by the region around you.
Beausoleil is situated on a beautiful piece of land outside of Port Williams. Of its terroir, Melanie says,
the Annapolis Valley is really just this beautiful little microclimate that has pushed the Annapolis Valley into being almost the fruit basket of the Maritimes. If you think about our land here in Church Street on Port Williams, we have a really interesting site. We're at a north-facing slope in Nova Scotia, and we're growing varieties like Chardonnay, which is really, really exciting. The reason why our site work and the sites here work along in Port Williams, along this little ridge that we have going on here, is our proximity to the Minas Basin. We're starting to identify, I think, in the Annapolis Valley, these little benches where you have these beautiful little terroir microclimates of what you can produce there. I recently saw a diagram describing the different areas within the Annapolis Valley, and they're calling our little area here the Minas Shore. So we'll think of this as the Minas Shore bench. We're about 1 kilometer from the Minas Basin. We get those beautiful temperate breezes that come in from the tides, the in and the out of the highest tides in the world. We have this beautiful big wide open sky that I talked about earlier, so we have lots of sunshine. We have a great breeze that blows through the vineyards and makes sure that we can keep on top of our disease pressure quite well. So just a really exciting little spot, I think, as a unique little microclimate within the broader scope of the Annapolis Valley.
So why did she and her family fall in love with Port Williams?
We're now on this little stretch of Church Street where we have 3 wineries right in a row, where you get 3 beautiful, great, very different experiences at each stop. Port Williams has a beautiful food scene. We have really beautiful restaurants with people doing really fun and innovative things. We have a distillery, we have a brewery, we have a cheese house, a fromagerie with beautiful gelato. Like you really feel like you're immersed in this really great community. And the one great thing about Port Williams, I feel, is that everybody roots for everybody else. Everybody recognizes that you want someone to stop and have a great experiences at one of these stops in Port Williams, and then keep going and hope to find another great experience.